My name is Scott Cherry. I am a resident of Dearborn. In fact, I live on the east side of Dearborn, which is the part of Dearborn that has the heaviest Arab Muslim concentration. We have about 100,000 people in our city, and a little less than half of them are Muslims, and the greater majority are from a Christian tradition or Christian heritage, like in many other places of the United States. I've been living in my home in East Dearborn for almost 20 years with my wife and children. Our neighbors are mostly Muslims from Lebanon or Iraq or Yemen. Once we had a Pakistani family on our block, but they moved away. And you know, our neighbors are wonderful people, very kind, very nice, very courteous, very helpful. It's fun to go outside and shovel snow together, for example, and help each other shovel the snow or rake leaves. We exchange cookies and kebabs. It's a wonderful place to live. It's very, multi-ethnic, and I find that to be very interesting. We have we have all the American holidays like Christmas and Thanksgiving, but then we also can observe the way that Muslims celebrate their holidays, and we can ask questions about what their holidays are about and how they do it.
So what do you think about Christmas in general? What are any of your
how I think about it
perspectives?
is two aspects of it. There's the traditional way, how we have it today is giving gifts and spending time with your family. And then there's also the religious aspect of it, which I don't think anyone is really following that manner of it, or what's the purpose of Christmas, or all this stuff about Santa Claus and Jesus and all this stuff, his birthday. I think that's what it really is for, but I doubt everyone's in the religious aspect of it. They're really for the tradition of giving gifts and sharing time with their family. That's what I think of it as.
Sure, and you might be right. You probably are right. A lot of American Christian background people don't
They don't
talk.
they don't know what it's for, basically. They just
Right.
I think quite a few Muslims in Dearborn do celebrate Christmas. You can see the Christmas trees right through their window.
what it's really about is just spending time with loved ones and talking to them and seeing how you feel by sharing gifts and just being.
I think it's important to consider the diversity of Muslims. There's a broad spectrum or continuum of types of Muslims from different traditions and different places on the continuum of, say, fundamentalism versus liberalism. And then, of course, there is moderate positions in between. So a lot of Muslims, most Muslims that you might talk to would not say that Christmas is blasphemy. They would simply not say that.
Participate and making a parties with Christian people. And also we celebrate this event in our house, all the member of the family coming. This is a nice day and a happy day for all of us. And we hope that we wish a nice Christmas and good Christmas, happy Christmas for all the people, not only on the United States, for all people in all over the world.
There is no such thing as a no-go zone in Dearborn. Anybody can go anywhere in Dearborn, and they can talk about Christmas all they want. They can have Christmas lights on their homes and Christmas messages, even if their neighbors are Muslims, which is possible, like mine. Okay, there's no place that you can't go and have a conversation with a Muslim person about the beauty and the specialness of Christmas.
First generation immigrant here. We're Muslim, so we don't really observe Christmas, but when I think of Christmas, I think of like Christmas carols. I did go to public school here. I was in the top choir at my high school, and we actually were hired to sing carols in Plymouth during the entire like Christmas season. Yeah, so it's really fun. So when I think of Christmas, I have really happy memories of family and friends and just singing because I like to sing.
Yeah, well, that's really cool. Some Muslim families tell me that they have a Christmas tree in their home and they view the presents. Do you guys do that?
No, we don't actually. But coming to Dearborn, I've come across a lot more of my Muslim friends that actually do have a Christmas tree and exchange gifts.
Interesting.
Yeah, we do believe Jesus is a prophet, so we would celebrate his life in that aspect. But
Very
my family actually, it's not part of our culture. We don't.
I see.
Yeah.
And also because so many Muslims like Christmas. They just like it. And in other parts of this interview, you're going to hear from Muslims that talk to you about what they love about Christmas. The lights, the music, even the Santa Claus and the reindeer and all these things.
But I don't celebrate it, but I like it. I like to see people happy in this period of the year.
The main idea of Christmas is that God became a man to save the world, and he became he was born as a child, and that was Jesus. Do you believe that part?
No. As a Muslim, we believe Miriam, his mom, became pregnant. God gave her that gift, but not he became a man. And he was like a miracle since he was a baby. He was able to talk some sentence,
Yeah.
telling people that he's God messenger. Yeah, but what we don't believe that he's a God. He's a prophet. For us, he's a prophet. But we believe that he has miracle. He's different from other prophets. Like he used to do miracles under God permission. I remember when I used to live in Kentucky. There's a park only for Christmas. They has lightning, and so I used to go and watch that. Me and my kids, I love it, but I don't celebrate it. As I told you, I have some respect for those people who celebrate it, but for me it's just another perspective. But as I told you, I do respect Jesus. I love Jesus.
A great many Muslims do observe Christmas or include Christmas traditions in their experience. Celebrating Christmas in Dearborn is a lot like celebrating Christmas anywhere. I mean, most people that live in Dearborn are from a Christian background, a Christian tradition, and so they have all kinds of lights and decorations on their homes and manger scenes on their front lawn and so on. And of course, some of us live among Muslim neighbors, and it's not unusual for them to have Christmas lights too. So it's normal in a great many ways.
Do you know what is a big deal about Jesus during Christmas time?
They said I think he born
Born
around
in this
that.
day. It's now
He
born
born-
in this day.
Is that the
Christmas
issue?
Day.
Are you asking me, or are you telling me?
I don't know. Some people says that he isn't born in this day, Christmas Day, in a different day. It's different.
Okay, so
I don't know the truth.
A lot of Muslims love the idea of Christmas, actually. Why? It's the birthday of Jesus. And no matter what other things the Quran says and other things the Muslims believe, they have a high regard for Jesus, and they will say that because the Quran ascribes prophethood to Jesus, even if they believe it. But I think a great many Muslims do not think that Christmas is blasphemy. Now, if they analyze Christmas and the theological doctrines that come out of the Bible very closely, then they would reject the idea. They would reject the idea that there was an incarnation, that God became a man. Of course they reject that idea. but they embraced the idea that God did a miracle, that Jesus was born of a virgin. He was not just a prophet. Actually, he was the Messiah. Muslims believe that Jesus was the Messiah, and therefore he had a special office, special powers, a special mission that set him apart even from the mission of other prophets. It's very, very interesting, the contrasts, but also the commonalities or similarities.
In the respect to Muslim and to Islam and Christianity, we do believe in Jesus. He is a prophet in our religion. However, we don't celebrate his birth during Christmas times like Muslims would, like Christians would. It's kind of different the way we perceive the prophets. I'm not too educated about it, but I do know some parts of the differences. But yeah, Christmas is not something we celebrate. It's not something we celebrate religiously, but it's something we can celebrate if we want to.
Oh, you can celebrate if you want to. So
Yeah,
it's
a lot
kind
of
of
people-
neutral for Muslims?
Yeah, a lot of people celebrate Christmas, but not in the sense like this is Jesus Christ's birthday or in that religious aspect.
Okay. And so would you say there's nothing offensive about it?
I personally don't see it as offensive. I mean, nobody has come up to me and tried to offend me for being Muslim and being around during Christmas time.
Sure.
But no, I don't think it's offensive. I think it's become a national holiday more than a religious holiday in some aspects. So
Sure.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, if there's any prejudice against Christmas in Dearborn, it's possible that the strongest form of the prejudice comes from Americans or liberal Americans, secular people who don't believe the message of the Bible, who don't believe in the Christian biblical roots of Christmas, and who believe that Christmas needs to be sort of neutralized or sanitized. That's where most of the pushback against Christmas comes from. Most of the pushback comes from a more liberal, secular strand of the American community. But Muslims do not push back against Christmas. They simply do not do it here. Muslims do not criticize Christmas. They don't form campaigns against Christmas. I think Muslims like Christmas by and large, or they're perhaps just indifferent about Christmas, like a great many Americans are too.
Talk about Christmas.
On Christmas Day in Russia and in the US, this not the same day, but I think it has the same sense, the same main idea. This never mind when we celebrate this day. I never been in the US on Christmas Eve. This will be the first time. But I think I saw a lot of information about Christmas in Europe or in US too. I think this is the same, like in Russian. This is the big, nice celebrate because this is the great event for each of us. This is and people all over doing this like beautiful Christmas tree, and they try to do something good for their family, for their for I don't know, maybe even for themselves, because this celebrate we have only once a year like this, and this is the great we will be with my son in US in this year.
Well, I think most people misunderstand the real meaning of Christmas. Not just Muslims, not atheists only, but most people that even call themselves Christians misunderstand the meaning, because it's not just Jesus' birthday. It's the incarnation. It's the biblical idea that, that God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him would not perish but have everlasting life. Therefore, God sent Jesus into the world to be born of a virgin in a miraculous way, according to messianic prophecies from the Old Testament, and that he would accomplish something profound in his life as he grew up, but especially toward the end of his life as he became active in preaching and teaching the kingdom of God and the message of the gospel, including his death and his resurrection. Now, of course, yes, Muslims reject his death and his resurrection, but so do a great many Americans these days reject one or both of those ideas, or the idea that Jesus did incredible miracles. That's one of the interesting contrasts, is that Muslims don't reject the fact that Jesus did incredible miracles, hundreds and thousands of miracles on a daily basis. But many Americans now who have become secularized do reject the Bible's accounts of the miracles of Jesus. So we've got this mixed bag of people's perspectives on Christmas in Dearborn and in so many places.